The internet wants to know, Stephan, have you started your tea time yet?
We did it that one time.
Right?
And so I have it set for a specific Sunday.
Every month.
Every month.
I'm so excited about it. You don't even know. It like reinvigorated me when you told me. I went home and I told Jenny. I was like, we got to bring back tea time. In fact, I just saw this commercial. I think it's for like Nestle. I don't know, an iced tea company. There's an iced tea company that has like a vending machine.
Okay.
And people had to put their phone in to get the tea out. Okay. And it locked the phone for 10 minutes inside. So they had to sit for 10 minutes and enjoy it. And they had these like couches. It was like just a commercial that they filmed and stuff. And I was like, I love that so much. It's so awesome. The lady at the end, she was like, I was about to sue somebody, but I really needed that. So I'm so happy for you to do it. I want to do it. I love it. Welcome to Revival, a Good News Brand podcast.
I'm Stephan Taeger.
And I'm Dave Butler.
Here we focus on the good news.
3 headlines each about the thrill of being a person of faith.
We are so glad you're here.
Yeehaw.
Do you have a time where you
I need to
collect all the cell phones? Or like a time during the day where there's downtime or something like that?
I should. I want to. On Sundays, Sundays at 3:30, we play wiffle ball as a family.
Oh, wow.
And it's like set. And we do it. And so during that time, half the time it ends in tears, but the other half are a win. But it's just such a good idea. Yeah. I love it so much. What was I going to say about that? Who should sponsor this? Oh, my friend. My friend Abby has a herbal tea company. It's called Herbal Tea Co. And it comes in these really cute tins. And there's all these flavors. It's awesome. Wow. So if anyone wants to jump in, or you just do any drink, anything. I love the idea of let's have a set time where we just sit. Tea time, like in your place, the Cotswolds.
Do you have a particular tea set that you really like or teacups you really like?
I actually have a little soda bar, mini soda bar. Like that's what we do for our tea. It's like syrups and it's a mini swig in my house. But I do love Abby. She's got a really cool teapot. It makes you feel fancy.
Yeah.
It brews. I don't know what you call it. I don't know the words. I don't know the words. But it's like, she's got like a pina colada one, and it's like, wow. Ooh. Anyways, it's so fancy, and I'm just really into this. I'm really into it, and I want to start it, and just sitting here together made me think of it again. I wondered if you were still going. Because that was a great sponsor for today, because this is by Bishop Caussé. I'm sure he has tea time. To the French? Yeah. He's French?
Yeah. Have you been to France?
Yeah, one time.
Wow.
One time. Paris. So not I bet there's better parts of France, Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, on not a layover, but a jumping from city to city business. I was only there for 2 days or something. That sounded bratty. It was 2 amazing days, that I was there.
But I do wonder if they have a strong tea
stop
culture.
Yeah. Do they have a stop time? Remember Cook Islands does, it's at a given hour. Everybody knows it. Yeah. And they stop. I don't know if England does. We've influenced them too much. We beat them in the war and then gave them our dirty habits of busy. And then, I don't know, maybe France does.
Don't outsiders.
Pastry hour.
Oh, yeah, that sounds
I bet.
That sounds
a cafe, a French cafe.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's better. Okay. Anyways, I don't know if it's because he's French. I don't think so. I love Elder Caussé, Bishop Caussé. He gives me such a good vibe. And I'm not the vibe police, or judge, but every time he speaks, I'm like, I really want to be his friend. I really like him.
Was that an official invitation to Elder Bishop Caussé to be your friend?
Yes. Yeah, I'm extending it right here, right now. We could have pastry time together, and it would be so great. But he seems so gentle, so wise, so just I don't know. You meet people and you're like, man, you just get it. You have a heart for the Anyways,
exactly the kind of person you want to have help leading the church.
Exactly. Yep. The bishop of the church. That's so great. Okay, so his talk is called Compensating Blessings. That's where our good news things are coming from today. And Stephan has 4, y'all. He's pulling a me. I'm influencing him like America did England. Bad.
I'll try to stick to 3.
Okay.
Here's number 3. So Elder Caussé talks about a time when he
You said that like you were trying to be French.
did I? I'm sorry.
Yes. You were like, okay, el caussé. Like people do when they say croissant. And I'm like, you are not. Say croissant.
What's the most American way to say it? Okay, we should focus.
Okay.
So he comes in late to a meeting and Elder Maxwell was speaking, and this is what happens. Just as I entered, I heard Elder Maxwell say, quote, "I will now give you an apostolic blessing." In that instant, I had a beautiful, unforgettable spiritual experience. I was overcome by the Spirit, and the words of the blessing seemed to penetrate every fiber of my soul, as though they were meant just for me. We live in a time where people are really hesitant of authority and leadership. Increasingly in Western culture, the last few hundred years, that has just grown and grown and grown. It's just, we don't want people to be in charge of us. We want to make our own decisions.
Yeah.
And there's something really true and about that.
Yeah.
aspect,
Yeah. Right.
But
Freedom. Yeah.
right. But that misunderstands what an apostle is
Hmm.
and what Jesus called his apostles to do. I love this story so much because Elder Caussé, he saw Elder Maxwell as a source of blessing and healing in his life in this moment. He pronounced an apostolic blessing. When the apostles were doing their work in the book of Acts, people saw them as a source for healing and joy and goodness and teaching. And not because of the men themselves, but because Peter did things in the name of Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so try to frame church leadership as more access to the directing power of God and the healing power of God.
Yeah.
Of course, anyone can get that as necessary.
Right. It's not a limiting principle.
Right.
It's
an
not like a
expanding.
this or that. Right.
That's such a good way to say it.
It's not, yeah, that's the first time I thought that because I can feel that cultural part of my spirit that says, wait, but what about the fact that anyone can access the power of God? Is it true? And
when
like,
Elder Maxwell comes
doesn't cancel them, one doesn't cancel out the other.
Or
you get both.
But when they come into town, right?
Yeah.
And they're around, then you also know there's going to be additional blessings from God through his chosen servant.
Yeah.
That's the good news. That's
just another avenue, right?
Yep.
It's another line of light, that comes. P.S. I think my favorite part of General Conference is always when there's an apostolic blessing. And if you listen, you'll hear it. They'll actually use the words, "I bless you." I heard Elder Holland say one time, and when you're there for an apostolic blessing or hear one, it's as if hands were placed upon your head, like he says, as though it were meant just for me. And I think why not? Give me more, I was in Jerusalem, just recently walking down the street and somebody asked me, "Have you been blessed yet today?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "May I?" I was like, "Yes, you may, sir," and that didn't cancel out any other kind of blessings that I can receive. It was just like, one more.
Right.
Fantastic, Anyways, that's awesome.
Jerusalem?
Yes.
It sounds like the kind of thing that would happen there.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My number 3. All right, listen. Here's the line. And I just have to say, I'm on a thing right now. I'm on a thing. I'm going to try not to have an issue, but here it is. Okay, it says this. His plan of redemption ensures that everyone, without exception, will be granted a just opportunity to receive the blessings of salvation and exaltation. I am so into his phrase, "without exception." I want to live in a world of no exceptions. That's not true.
Right.
I'm saying that wrong. It bothers me when people say there are no exceptions, right? If an airline does it, that drives me. No exceptions to this rule. It's like, of course there's exceptions. This is a world with people, right? If Costco there's no exceptions to this policy. I particularly don't want to be in a church of no exceptions. Like what? There should never be a policy that says no exceptions to this. I think we have a God of exceptions. When you read the story of Scripture, he makes exceptions for circumstances and situations. That's actually one of the most beautiful parts of it. That's going to be my second one. I forgot. I'm not even going to go into it. I was like, wait, There's a paragraph about this, okay? But don't steal that one. Okay.
Sorry.
Even you had 4. You could pick one. But so generally speaking, I get bothered when someone's like, I'm so sorry. There's no exceptions to that policy. I'm just like, of course there are. What are you talking about? So usually I don't like that phrase. In this case, I love it. No exceptions. No exceptions. This is the one policy Jesus has no exceptions on. And it's that everyone will receive an opportunity for salvation and exaltation. It's the one, I can't think of any more. It's the one. I mean, we could add some, like he will love you to the end of time. No exceptions. He will want the very best for you and want to be in covenant, deep, rich relationship with you forever and ever. No exceptions. Other than some of those, there should be exceptions, but I just like these ones of, don't you like that?
Yeah.
No exceptions.
And it's one of the reasons
on this one.
It's one of the reasons why I'm a restorationist.
Yeah.
It's
same.
because our tradition teaches that so clearly,
Mhm.
unapologetically. I love our Christian brothers and sisters, traditional Christian brothers and sisters, but sometimes they'll talk about this in foggy ways, but the restoration says, no, unapologetically, in this life or in the next, everyone will have a chance to meet Jesus and place their faith in him.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. No exceptions. I did good because I had some examples in my head, ready to say, like, why you say there's no exceptions to something like this? Listen, let me just say, I think there has to be order and whatever to avoid chaos in the world. But, I always think there should be exceptions, except on this one.
Oh man. Okay, ready for my number 2?
Yes, sir.
Can I? It's a little bit of a story. Can I read it?
When has that prevented? Why are you even asking permission?
It's a headline story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good news paragraphs.
Good news
Brought to you today
by Stephan. The Lord's compensating blessings often come through the kindness and service of others who help us accomplish what we cannot do on our own. I remember a time when, living far from one of our daughters in France, we felt helpless to assist her after a difficult delivery. That same week, our ward in Utah sought help for a mother who had just given birth to twins. My wife, Valerie, volunteered to bring a meal for her, with a prayer in her heart for both this new mother and our daughter in need. Soon after, we learned that the sisters in our daughter's ward in France had organized to provide meals for her family. To us, God had answered our prayers, sending angels to bring comfort when we couldn't. Recently, our family has been going through something that's been extremely difficult. It's a health issue, right?
Yeah.
And by the time this has been recorded, there came a moment where we really needed some help with some meals and that kind of thing. And my wife, Kirsten, was on the Relief Society text. She saw this happen in real time. And someone in the Relief Society said, we need meals for the taegers on these dates, and it wasn't 1 or 2, and it took 10 minutes. That's it. Just 10 minutes. And in fact, the meals filled up extremely quickly. And then there were sisters jumping on and saying, if you want me to help with that day as well, I can also help you make that meal as well. And so here's the good news. God works through our wards. I know no ward is perfect. You've seen the humanity in your ward, and you've also seen the divinity. You've seen the Lord's hand. The church is his body. The church is his hands and feet going out and doing his work. I guess I want to say that we read so much about Jesus' power to love and heal and teach, and we talk so much about that. You want to experience that? Go to church. Go be a part of that community. First and foremost, offer the help, and then be humble enough and wise enough to see it and receive it when the time comes.
Yeah, because I'm all about a spontaneous, act of help, right? In fact, I'm drawn to things like that, to live in compassionate detour. It's one of the things I love about the Savior. But there is also this, you don't know when the opportunity, there is one organized right in front of you, an opportunity right in front of you. And I don't think I'm ever going to get sick of that principle. And I don't think I want to always emphasize how often, in my view, in my experience, God's goodness is manifest through other people. I think that's the first place you ought to look in evidence for the goodness of God. I think that's the first and best way that he manifests himself, that he's there. I think I've told you this story before, but it's been a long time, so you've forgotten it by now. But when I was in the hospital at one time, and what was happening, I felt was like really unfair and ruining all my plans and all of these things. And I read a scripture, in the scriptures where it just talked about like God knows your pains. It's Alma 7, right? And will succor you, And I remember thinking like, well, I actually don't care that you know my pains because like they're still here. Like, what are you doing about it? I didn't ask that directly. It felt rude, but but I remember in the middle of that night waking up and seeing my mom in the hospital chair sleeping right next to me. And right then, that was the answer. It's like, I am doing something about it. I sent her. And I just, ever since that day, have felt like I don't ever want to like dismiss. That's not like a minor way that God takes care of us. I think it's the main way that he does it. And to be in a community of people willing and ready and just as, evidence of him that's so sweet, so beautiful, so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's church to me. That's church.
That's what it's for. Yeah.
I don't care if someone gives a talk. I mean, that's great. Yay. Or like we can have classrooms, but like that is like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much of the magic of the restoration happens on the ward level. It really, really does.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend who's just like, I wish I could bring her on here because she talked so smart to me. And just the psychology of like the size a community needs to be and like blah, 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 like most effective. And she was just like, and the fact that like our wards are like done geographically. So,
it's so inspiring.
Right? Like as much as sometimes I want to pick my own and some people should, maybe, whatever, there's exceptions. But there's something about just like the mix and the different gifts, and it's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. I had 4 too. That was one of mine. So I'm just going to move to one of my other ones. It's this one. It's quoting Elder Maxwell again. He loved Elder Maxwell. He says, God takes into merciful account not only our desires and our performance, but also the degrees of difficulty which our varied circumstances impose upon us. And I think that's remarkable. That God takes into account so much. Our pasts, our presents, our futures, our desires, our wishes, our hopes, our incapabilities, the things that were, unjustly done to us. Whatever it is, he just takes those into account when he looks at. And I think that's just so gracious. It's so kind. I don't want to believe in this black and white God who's just like, nope. Either you did it or you didn't, kind of thing, right? I don't believe in one like that. I believe in one who just, takes into account so much of what's happening. And Christian gave his farewell talk on the Sunday before we recorded this. He's gone by now, I'm sure, by the time this comes out. And he talked about the story of the boy who's lowered down through the roof, in Capernaum, and how Jesus says to him, my son. And Christian taught this. He just said, his friends brought him, which is so awesome. But the person who should have brought him was his dad. So why wasn't his dad there? And there's that, ancient cultural idea that if you're paralyzed, if you're crippled, it's because God was mad at you. And so maybe the dad was ashamed. I don't know. But the words even that Jesus chose to say to that boy, he knew his circumstances and he knew we don't know what they all were. We're just assuming, but it's so gracious, so sweet and so kind. And I'm so thankful to have that part of his heart revealed to us.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. We don't believe in a God who's petty, out to get us.
No.
But first and foremost, he loves us and he's understanding, right?
Yeah.
doesn't justify sin, and you're not even coming close to saying that.
No.
But people's stories are messy and complicated.
When he doesn't justify it because it hurts you.
Right.
He's like, I don't want to, of course I don't want you to do things that hurt yourself.
Right. Or others.
And damper your progress and the progress of others. Yeah, of course not.
But he also understands that our stories are messy and complicated, and he
Right.
works within that framework to bring about our sanctification.
Yeah. So good.
Okay. All right, here's my number one from President Lorenzo Snow.
No one's named Lorenzo anymore,
gotta bring
and
it
that's a
back.
shame. You know, I'm listening to this book on Michelangelo,
Oh, really?
and you know the Medici family that like sponsored his
Okay,
art and
okay.
stuff. The dad was named Lorenzo Medici. So like I know two noble people named Lorenzo, you know, two sages of history. So I don't know. It's just a
What's your
Storm-
favorite
storm that out,
Michelangelo
though.
piece?
the Pieta.
Pieta?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like in
I mean, I
his-
love the David,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Anything named after me, I'm gonna love just for vain reasons, you know. And that it's crazy. That statue's crazy. Where you're just like, you look alive, and you're made out of rock.
Amazing.
You can see veins, you know. But man, the one of Mary holding Jesus,
So
it's like
if that's not the work of God through Michelangelo.
I can't even believe it when I see it. I can't even believe it. I'm
I've
like,
never seen
how
it.
did you had a chisel? How did you do that? You know how seriously, Joyce, like I'm like, you had no lasers or nothing.
He was in his 20s when he
I
did that.
know.
And the joke I always tell my students is I'm always like, yeah, Michelangelo did this in his 20s, and look right at him. I'm like, what are you doing with your life?
What's wrong with y'all? trying to say like, sorry, my assignment's not.
Like, have you seen the Pieta? You could get this in on time.
I just think it's like, there's so much it's like, that's a rock, genuinely.
Yeah.
But there's so much emotion and there's so much story in it. It's like, wow.
Where is it? We should
In
focus, but
St. Peter's
It's in
Basilica.
St.
Yeah, right
Peter's.
when you walk into the right.
man.
I was there a year ago leading that Travels of Paul tour,
Yeah.
and they were redoing the little chapel that it's in, and so you couldn't see it.
Oh,
I was like, this is the tragedy of my year.
you had a good year then.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I can't remember why we were
ready?
talking
Number
about that,
one.
but I was so happy.
Lorenzo Snow.
Oh, yeah, Lorenzo.
There is no Latter-day Saint who dies after having lived a faithful life who will lose anything because of having failed to do certain things when opportunities were not furnished him or her. They will have all the blessings, exaltation, and glory that any man or woman will have who had this opportunity. I once watched a funeral, and I'll try to be careful here. Just it's kind of a sensitive situation, but a daughter was killed tragically in a car accident.
Mm.
13, 14, that age.
Oh,
And I watched the funeral of this, and the bishop very wisely, very gently, very just in an inspired way gave the closing remarks. And he testified, he said, yes, Jesus is merciful, but he's also just. And someday he will make this right, is essentially what he said. And so I celebrate and give God glory for his justice, because there are things that are unfair.
yeah.
There are things that make life more difficult for others than some of us have to go through.
Yeah.
And we try to tell a story. We're like, oh, maybe you deserved it. And King Benjamin warns heavily against that story.
Yeah.
There are some things that are just unfair,
Right.
and God will make it right. I'm a
Yeah.
believer.
Same.
I think that he will fix it someday.
I think so too. Okay, my last one's easy, so I'll be able to do it fast. But this line, and he says, well, this kind of goes along the same lines. He knows your circumstances, which you kind of said, but this, and the door to his blessings remains wide open to you, no matter the challenges that you face. I'm not going to get over the phrase wide open when talking about the door to heaven, the door to God's blessings, the door to opportunity. Like, it is wide open. It makes me think of when Christian and I were volunteers at the Saratoga Springs like temple open house or whatever, and our job was to be at the doors of the celestial room, and we were given the instruction. It was like, when you open these doors, only open them 45 degrees, because we just want to maintain the quiet in there. And the person walked away from those instructions. The Christian looked at me. He was like, I'm not doing that. And when he opened the door for someone, he opened it the full 180 all the way. He was like, The doors to heaven aren't 45 degrees. I was like, I love this kid so much. And that's true. This is a true line, not because we earned it or deserving of it, but because that's just how good God is and how big his heart is.
Yeah. And if you remember in the book of Helaman, I think it's chapter 3, they talk about the gate to heaven in the same kind of way that it's wide open. And the church is astonished by how many people are coming into the church.
That's legit.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we're experiencing that right now. This was the highest baptizing year we've experienced ever, I think, in the history of the church. We're in July, and they just announced this. And so in real time, we're witnessing the gate of heaven is wide open, wide open. Have faith, repent, come sit at the table, partake.
So good. So reviving. Y'all won't get sick of that. All right. We'll see you next week. Man, I hope you feel thrilled and revived with the good news and the thrill of faith. If you want to find more, go to goodnewsbrandco.com. You can check out our Instagram, Good News Brand Co. We also have an app where we include all the podcasts and all the freebies and all the gives there. Just trying to fill your life with some good news. We'll see you next week.